So you guys are probably wondering why you're playing a hunter as a titan this season. Well, welcome to the Omega Chad punchy build, which is using Liar's Handshake and the subclass on 3.0 to use your lethal current and pretty much just dodge punch, dodge punch, dodge punch. Before I go over anything, pretty much when you're using this build, if you don't have your melee, just dodge and get your melee. When you melee something and you punch it, you're going to get your dodge. A lot of this is maneuverability and moving around and using the Arc 3.0 hold W strat. So when you're using this, I like having a tractor cannon out because if anything threatens me, if anything gets close to me, even in Gambit or anything, a major, I can debuff it, dodge, melee, or shotgun it first, apply 1-2 punch, shotgun melee. I don't need teammates for anything with this build. I don't need to ask them to buff. Even if I'm using champions, you gotta remember, tractor cannon is a unstoppable champion mod this season. So you can stop a champion, shotgun melee, kill him, destroy him. You don't have to use a Kelos SFG. The only reason I'm using this is because it is Arc and I have on Font of Might. So we're going to go over the whole thing. Gathering Storm, the new Arc Strider Arc 3.0 Super. Hurl your Arc Staff forward, embedding it into surfaces or large targets and jolting nearby targets. After a short time, a devastating lightning bolt strikes the staff, overcharging it in Arc energy. While overcharged, your staff discharges lightning at nearby foes. If you activate this super next to another hunter and they tag along like Witherhorde would, they do cancel each other out. So make sure that you do split your Arc Supers apart so they're not touching. No touching tips. This has been tested. We've been doing future testing, but we found out the Gathering Storm does actually more damage than a Thunder Crash, about 100k more. There'll be more info on that coming soon and pretty much make this super really good. I've been having a lot of fun with it. You can too. I use a Gambler's Dodge because every time you dodge near an enemy, you get that melee recharge. That's how you're doing your melee dodge, melee dot. You know? Combination blow is huge. You have to understand though, with using combination blow and lethal current, when your lethal current shocks the enemies around them, it's not going to proc your combination blow. So when you're new to this build, I want you to understand that you need to look above your super bar a lot and make sure that you're getting that combination blow 1, 2, 3. I like storm grenades. Storm grenades are really good damage for AoE, or you can do tick damage with the pulse nades, kind of up to you. So I've been going with flow state and lethal current. With flow state, when you're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly and it makes it to where you are more resilient while dodging and your reload speed is greatly increased. Lethal current pretty much gives the hunter Dune Marchers. After dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, it jolts the target and creates a damaging aftershock. I've been having fun with it all day. These fragments are all personal choices. I can switch them out if I want to. I really like beacons. While I'm amplified, my Arc special weapon final blows create blinding explosion. Remember, I have an Arc energy SMG on, so not only is it blinding, not only is it got to have Font of Might procced because it's matching my subclass, but it's also taking advantage of, you know, being the same special for this ability. You have Spark of Beacons run. Spark of Resistance, when you're running this build, you're running around a lot of enemies, you're always going to be surrounded, so you're more damage resistant. Spark of Frequency, melee hits greatly increase your reload speed for a short duration. So while you're running around, meleeing stuff, proccing 1-2 punch, doing whatever, you can reload your guns a little quicker. Spark of Magnitude, your lingering arc grenades, such as that lightning grenade, pulse nade, or storm nade, more damage over time. You can switch them out, use whatever you want. You couldn't take tractor cannon off and put on Legend of Acreus. You could put on Anarchy because it's bugged right now. They're supposed to be doing 10% more damage. They're doing 250% more damage. That's right, you heard me. 250% more damage instead of 10%. It's okay though. But again, I like debuffing. I don't like having to worry about any teammates to debuff enemies. If I go down swinging. I rock this shotgun because it has auto loading 1-2 punch. You can run whatever you want, switch it up. Maybe you don't want to run a 1-2 punch. Maybe you want to run for Barons. Maybe you want to add clear with it. Doesn't matter. Your melee build is going to clear ads no matter what. Now, going over some of these mods that are very important. The reason why I want to start with this helmet is Font of Wisdom. Not a lot of people know what this mod does. To get this to proc, you need Melee Wellmaker, which is on my gauntlets. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase in your intellect. This significant increase is 10 intellect. So on this kind of build, you don't need mobility. You could spec into resilience, recov, discipline, proc Font of Wisdom. When Font of Wisdom procs, you're good to go. There's your intellect. My intellect goes from a 4 to a 10. As I'm doing that and I'm meleeing ads and I'm killing the ads, hands on. grant bonus super energy on melee kills. Huge. So these two are working together. Again, I didn't really make the switch to do that. As you see, I'm still working on stats, but you can. You can easily take off your mobility, take off every single mobility mod you have, and switch them up to different stats. Don't believe me? Try out Font of Wisdom and Hands-On. You might not have these mods. It's okay. You should at least have Hands-On to use, but take advantage of Font of Wisdom. I'm pretty much going to run Font of Wisdom on any arc build I have this season. On the gauntlets, we're just running melee Wellmaker because it costs a lot. Chest piece, you're probably looking at void chest pieces all season, so you can do the void damage resist with the thermo shock plating and get the solar and arc as well. Font of Might, again, this is optional if you want to run this, but I'm running it because if I wanted to simply run an arc heavy and an arc energy weapon, I could take advantage of the extra buff. I'm always going to keep on my powerful friends on my boots, but again, if I wanted to spec out of the mobility build, I would have some options here to throw on whatever I want. On the class item, there's one more mod that's really good, Well of Ions. Picking up an arc elemental well causes your next melee to deal increased damage. So not only is that working with the subclass, but it's working with Liar's Handshake. Using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch, and it heals you. That's why you're unkillable. I've been running that with Thunderous Retort. I've actually been doing a lot of damage testing with this mod right here. By the way, I'm going to actually give you more info on this in another video. Thunderous Retort only works with the impact of the super. So right when the hunter throws the new super, as soon as the super hits that first tick, that's where the Thunderous Retort gives you the extra damage boost. It does work with Thunder Crash, the initial Thunder Crash, not the tick damage after. And it also works with the Warlock with Geomags for the full super. You have to understand though that a hunter can throw the super and use their weapons, a Titan can throw the super, use the weapons, and Warlock just stands there with a ray of death the whole time. At amplitude, all I have to do is damage them with an arc ability and it causes the champion to be jolted. This is busted. It works with arc souls. I can't believe this mod is 1 energy. So far today, I've noticed that Bad Amplitude is one of the best mods. I still need to test out a whole bunch of mods from the artifact. I'll do that down the road. But again, most of these mods I just went over are just basic stuff, but Font of Wisdom is slept on. I slept on this mod and I've learned a lot about it and I've implemented it in builds, and you're going to understand why it's really good. So again, when you're running this subclass, when you're running this build, dodge, melee, dodge, melee, dodge, melee. The whole time you're just starting to get used to it. Just dodge, punch something, dodge, punch something. Don't even use weapons. And then start implementing them into your build when you want to use weapons, when you want to debuff something, when you want to shotgun melee something. Just remember, when you're using a 1-2 punch shotgun, it's shotgun melee, shotgun melee. That's usually what people would do. But to proc your Liar's Handshake, sometime you need the shotgun melee melee. So if you don't see that initial punch with the sound cue of the exotic of Liar's Handshake, do a shotgun melee melee. Sometimes you might get hit and you can proc Liar's Handshake melee right off the bat with a shotgun melee, and then some people like to follow it up with another shotgun melee. You just have to get used to the mod and the used to the build. I usually just listen to the sound cue. As soon as I hear the Liar's Handshake audio in my headset, I know that it's good. But again, it's pretty cool. You always get a melee, you always get a dodge. Your nades stay charged pretty much. You're amplified. Unlimited super pretty much because you're always getting a 10 intellect. And yeah, so go around punching stuff on a hunter and melt bosses, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this build.